Welcome to the Diversity Connector podcast, where we explore the rich tapestry of human experiences. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the country on which we meet today. I would also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging, and together as we dive into conversations that bridge cultures, challenge stereotypes, and celebrate the unique perspectives each of us brings to the table. Each episode is a journey through stories and insights from a kaleidoscope of voices, each sharing their colorful narrative. Whether you're at home, on the go, or just anywhere in between, you're now part of a community that values understanding, inclusivity, and the beauty of diversity. So plug in your headphones, get comfortable, and let's connect through the power of our shared stories. Welcome, and thank you for joining us on the Diversity Connector podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Diversity Connector. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
Thank you, Gertrude. Really, I'm fascinated and humbled and honored to be here with you and with the audience. Because this is such an amazing opportunity to connect with people, connect with you, and it's all about women empowering women, and I'm big on women empowering women, and as well as all the supporting male allies. So yeah, my name is Usha Jagannathan, and I currently live in Phoenix, Arizona, which is in United States. And I would like to share my professional journey. So I fell into the technology industry by chance, but I found my calling. I had originally planned to pursue a career in medicine, but as I waited for the medical school waiting list to clear, this was like what I'm talking 30 years ago, I took the opportunity to explore my interest in technology. So I decided to take a chance and pursue a career in electronics engineering and computer applications. So, and quickly realized that technology was my true passion. So, and then what I did was like I got married and I came from India to here in order to pursue higher studies along with my husband. And I started my career at the state government of Arizona as a programmer. Since I am in the technology field, like any other technologist who would have started their career as a software engineer or a programmer, I did the same way. While raising my three children, I later had to work part time as a faculty member at three different universities, juggling teaching programming courses, and also at the same time I was also doing consulting for the Washington Post. So I was also pioneered the concept of virtual IT labs, the immersion of how to do the online engineering degree programs, and I tried to pilot that at Arizona State University through my PhD dissertation study. And while I was as a database consultant for the Washington Post to um, help people to develop applications on the back end, I was representing the Purdue University Global, which was then called as Kaplan University. I was fascinated by the potential of AI, how it can revolutionize the way that news is gathered and disseminated today. I began to see how AI can be leveraged to identify and analyze those trends, and how it can automate those process of generating news articles. And we know today, for especially today in this AI era, we know like how much AI is being leveraged in all the news, media, and broadcast, right? So later, what I did was, since my youngest was only 3 years old, it was very hard for me to leave and then all were little kids, leave and go whenever for consulting job calls me wherever I need to go to fly out, and I might not come like in 2 to 3 days. It might take more than 5 days to get back home. So I decided, okay, I need to be somewhere full fledged, and that is when I moved into Arizona State University, where I I joined as a teaching faculty, but at the same time I started to lead the graduate program for the IT department, IT Academia department, and I launched the MSIT online degree program the following year. I think, yeah. And then I began building AI projects with student faculty teams, and that is how I got my curiosity that sparked my interest in order to get into the AI side of it. And this experience helped me actually realize that I had to dedicate my career. I wanted to dedicate my career in developing more and deploy more responsible AI systems, because right from my upbringing, my parents have always taught about how you should live with integrity and don't do anything unethical, and all those things have been imbibed in my head. And looking at those, I was thinking like, okay, if we are building some products, and especially we are trying to put all our effort into building a mission and building a model, AI model, and whatever that model spits out, whatever the response that the AI gives, then we cannot just take it for face value. We want to make sure that is going to the customer end, and how when it is going to the end user, we have to make sure that it is ethical, that it is fair, and there is no gender bias, and there is is there any accountability, what is the transparency in it, because what goes in and what comes out, we don't know what happens in between, and we need to know that there is no black box, and it is more of a glass box. And these are the things I learned. I was self-taught because I did not do my PhD in AI. It was more into the technology side, so I had to learn everything by myself. And also when I had to teach, I should know the intricacies of it to delve deeper into it. And these experiences of doing those on hands-on projects along with the students and faculty, these experiences gave me that deep understanding of both the technical and pedagogical aspects of software engineering, and um, connecting with the AI side of it. And that sparked my interest in basically pivoting into the corporate world to develop and deploy responsible AI solutions, and how I could be uh, one among the many in making a real impact to the world. And then what I did was, like, while I was teaching at Arizona State University, I was trying to place my students in the corporate world. And one of the chief digital officer reached out to me saying, like, how about we will take your students, but how about you also come and work for us? And that is how I moved into Marsh and McLennan. And then I was leading the product development, and it's an innovation team, because I was as a business innovation lead, leading a small innovation team to develop innovative enterprise AI solutions. And I also spearheaded initiatives to ensure that how we can incorporate AI governance, how we can incorporate um, what else, like explainability in the AI products, all the models that you build, how that black box becomes a glass box, right, as I mentioned earlier. So for example, I also led cloud migration strategies after I moved from Marsh to McKinsey, where I was like, how all the applications that are on prem, and specifically the AI applications, how it can move or migrate, we can migrate from on prem to the cloud, so that we can modernize the infrastructure and boost the AI model performance. See, while boosting the AI model performance, I also am very passionate about, and very big on, we in my entire house, we are very big on environment. Everything we go in for the eco-friendly products, environmental specific. So I wanted to see, it's not about when you build some products how you boost the model performance, because AI is such a compute intensive work that you do, and also it drains a lot of GPUs. You want to also I make sure that we are introducing sustainable engineering practices where you don't want certain things on the cloud, how you can, pause it, don't have to terminate anything, but pause that. And at the same time, where, you don't need to leverage more than one or two GPUs based on what you need, allocate only what you need. So I was very particular on how we can uh, do sustainable resource allocation. So in the engineering teams, and that is how I built explainability, bias detection, boilerplates. And also I developed the ethics framework while I was at McKinsey. So all these things, it all me again and again into the data governance framework. How I can roll out for adoption by the data governance framework, what we do, how that could be adopted by several teams. And that's how all my passion went and drove towards responsible AI.
You have such an impressive background. It is just so fascinating to listen to you speak.
Thank you.
So, given your passionate commitment to fostering diverse AI talent, can you share some of the strategies that you've implemented to promote diversity and inclusion within the AI field?
Strategy. I'm passionate about mentoring diverse talent, and diverse talent is the key when it comes to building AI products specifically, because you need to have that different ethnicity in that sitting in the table, different perspectives. You don't want all a group of women or all group of males, but we need to make sure of one particular group. You want to have that marginalized groups also taken into account, people of color, and all different diversities. White community, people from NSBE, where it is like where we could get students from. There is a Black engineer community group we go into, and you can get people from Latino community. And also, I go into the like people like where Native Americans, like where there are indigenous community, where we could be able to get people who there is something called, I think, AESIS. It's a community where it's a conference that goes for every year. I go and get people for new talent. So I'm passionate about getting. It's not about just being passionate. Like when you have those diverse talent in the workplace, you know that you could be able to not only increase the industry diversity, but the product what you're developing at the end is going to be uh, has such a massive impact in it, and in a good way. And the strategies I would say is like early outreach. Like I have championed initiatives like work study program for college students, like Spelman, Morehouse College, and Clark University, all the universities that is in Atlanta when I was based in the Atlanta office, and then also other universities where I could be able to get the diversity into the group. So I've championed initiatives in that work study program, apprenticeship program, and internship programs. So these programs basically it creates those clear pathways for underrepresented, I would say marginalized groups in technology, that sparks their interest in AI early on. So I really would like to bring those people to see like how they work, how they gain that industry skills. And apart from that, certain strategy that I use is, see, mentorship is crucial, but at the same time, like how you foster the sense of belonging, and how you cater to their career growth, that is also important if you are going to be a mentor or a coach for new talent that is coming in. So I also encourage my colleagues to become better allies, um, creating a supportive network so that everyone has a voice on the table. And one other strategy that I have used is like, having strategic partnerships. That is one of my key strengths, where I build partnerships. If I'm in industry, I'll build partnership with academia. If I'm in the academia side, I'll build partnership with the industry. It's more like a win-win situation for me, because it's we are providing students if I'm in the academia side, and the industry is gaining from the students by providing them the industry skills, but at the same time they are able to get some work done through these students. So in there
Yes.
for their projects, yeah, that is how I look at it's like building bridges with both the communities like academia and industry, and that should be the key. So the students also get benefited and the industry is also getting benefited.
So, as a recipient of the 2023 Responsible AI Leader Award and
Uh-huh.
being featured as one of the most iconic women leaders in modern AI industry, what do you believe are the key factors that have contributed to your success in these leadership roles?
Sure, sure. So, see, the AI industry is rapidly evolving. It demands a unique set of skills and qualities from the leaders. While strong technical understanding, it remains important. I would say the future leaders, or as a leader, how I've emerged, we should excel in a broader range of areas. Like today, just the tech skill only is not enough. You should also have that soft skill. Some people have are really good at technical, but they hesitate to talk in a forum or even in a knowledge sharing session. So I try to push those people uh, to have the spotlight. So starting with a smaller group, and then they go to a larger group to share the session, because I always tell them that they are the subject matter expert. So because what the project that they have developed, they know that part of their module or the code what they have written very well than anyone else. So even if they stumble upon or not able to explain certain things, but still because of they have they challenge themselves because they have never spoken in a forum or never spoken in an even smaller set group within their industry. As they start doing it, you could see that they really want to come back and do more and more. And that is how I think like I built the high performing team. And that's how I think like it's more like a servant leadership model, I would say. But at the same time, how give credit where it needs to be, because if it is their work, give credit and push them to do better. And if you do them and mold them better, they are going to go up in their ladder, career ladder. And that is how I see there is a and getting
Love it.
this award that you're talking about is this receiving this award was a huge honor. I did not expect that, because this was for the entire US. There are so many wonderful women who have done much larger work in the AI ethics and responsible AI area. I'm humbled and honored to receive that last year, but
Mhm.
that provided me with much more visibility and recognition. But and at the same time, being honored, I would say like this serves as an inspiration not only to me, but it also other people are watching, other women are looking to do something similar. So how they can make an impact by taking me as a small example. There are many more women who have achieved a lot more, and but this would be kind of it's a stepping stone for them to see, okay, she has how she had come from software engineering and pivoted into AI and what she has been doing. If she can do it, then I can do it. And definitely, as I say, if I can do it, then anyone can be able to do it. It's just you need the grit and determination and the perseverance to move forward.
I love it. That is so true. It's the perseverance, and you just seem to keep on going. So, with your expertise in building ethical and customer centric AI products,
Mhm.
how do you ensure that these technologies align with ethical standards while also meeting the diverse needs of global customers? Can you share with us your journey into AI leadership and what motivated your focus on ethical and customer centric AI products?
Sure, sure. Yeah. So, as I mentioned in the intro, at Arizona State University, while I was leading the IT graduate program, I was also teaching web and database programming, both SQL and NoSQL programming. And I began collaborating with students on AI projects. Some of the students, when they were working on the capstone project, they started dabbling into AI, data science and AI. And when they started to work on that, this sparked my curiosity to explore the vast potential that AI has. So, as I started mentoring these students while I was also self teaching myself, because see, AI has been there for a while, but however, the last decade or more, that's when the data science career just went to a boom. So I mentored these students, and that motivated me actually to design AI products for social good. That is how I started to grasp that how it has that immense impact with technology. And so I that this could create actually, I was looking at in like how I would future proof Arizona State University 5 years down the road. Oh, we could create many user centric solution within the university. And while I was thinking about that, at the same time I was hearing a lot about responsible AI, and that is when I started delving deeper into it and doing self research, and noticed like, okay, any product that I could develop, it could be potential for bias or even harm. Why we
Mhm.
never thought about it before, but we think now, it's because we are making the machines intelligent. Human intelligence, always it's way beyond machine intelligence, but we make it intelligent, and when we make it intelligent, we also induce bias, and that could also end up harming, in the sense like, based on how high, whether it is not a, if it is not a high quality data, it can lead into wrong outcomes. If you do a stress testing on that AI, it could be, you have to make sure you test for the good scenario and as well as the worst scenarios. So if
Yes.
not, then it might end up having certain issues. So that's when it dawned me, okay, we should think about how we can build AI responsibly with ethics as the main a priority that we give, other than customer centricity as its at its core. So my
Mm.
journey in AI leadership, to be frank, may not have been a straight path, but
Mm.
just out of my own passion, that inquisitiveness, the curiosity, that these are all the things that drove me, so that I took it as a commitment now today to build all these ethical AI products that could benefit uh, someone, benefit everyone, whoever it is, it goes to the product.
So, in leading digital transformation efforts, what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced, particularly in integrating AI technologies in traditional industries?
Yeah, there are many, but a few that comes into my mind, I would say, is like, um, data is the fuel, right, for AI. Without AI, machines can't do anything without data. So
Yes.
just like we food is the fuel for us to get energy. So data
Mhm.
may be scattered, data is more in silos form. You need to
Yes.
get the from across different departments. So that becomes a challenge when you're doing those discovery, product discovery, where when you have to start designing and developing that application, when you're about to build that AI application. So data, if it is in silos, that becomes a huge challenge that I've been there. And then also, like, the data could be incomplete, it could be missing some, it could have some inaccurate data, the data could be fragmented, all this, which is like lacking some well structured data. And if it is not that, that is when we say it's not a high quality data, then it is going to be hard to train the AI models. And that I have seen. And another thing, another concern is like, not every organization has a chief AI governance officer or a AI officer
Yes.
who can look into whether you have incorporated the governance practices. So integrating that governance practices is super important. And today,
Mhm.
every organization, small or big or mid-sized, they all do not want to succumb into the ethical pitfalls, and they are getting worried. Also, they many of like me, we put on, besides the engineering hat or the innovation leader hat, we also put on a hat as a governance specialist in order to see whether certain governance practices have been incorporated. So
Right.
integrating that AI it always raises concerns about the privacy, whether we are not leaking any PIA information, and how we are establishing clear data governance for all the AI projects. And those are the three I would comes into my mind. And one other I would like to conclude with this question is, people are resistant to change. Not
Yeah.
everyone um, embrace new technologies. That
Mm.
I wouldn't say. The reason is you get comfortable, too comfortable, and when you're too comfortable, you don't want to come out of that comfort zone. And in that time, in that specific, it becomes really hard how to do that. It's not a cultural shift, it's a mindset shift, and
Right.
that becomes a really challenge, especially for leaders or new leaders, emerging leaders, how to tackle that within a team. Because some people will say, okay, why do I need to do this? Give me the rationale. And even if you give the rationale, they will say, no, I would like to stick on to the number one, I don't want to go with the number two. So there will be back and forth those conversations that would happen before both the parties come to a conclusion. The stakeholders and the development team come to
Yes.
a consensus, saying like, okay, I will go with this. So that resisting to change, I see a lot. And also lack of AI expertise. Not every, because if an organization, as they call it, as uh, whitewashing, like today, AI could be. It's not like every organization, because they are seeing this AI era, they get worried about, oh, if we don't say that we are integrating AI or leveraging AI in our company, then whether
Yes.
they would become AI obsolete. So
Right.
they get really worried about, and they say, okay, but their employees might not be skilled with AI. They might not have the AI skills. So, but how to do that is grow that in-house talent, leverage some training program, offer those to the employees. So you don't bring new talent, but upskill them, so that you don't let go of your wonderful employees, but upskill those employees to to make them better in that, because they might be really good in data. Then obviously leveraging the AI skills is not going to be harder. And if needed, also hire talented AI programmers or specialists. So
Love
and
that.
above all, yeah, I would say, like, as I again mentioned, like understanding how that models work is very critical. So building that trust with stakeholders would be like how we are creating that explainability part of it, how we are making that model explainable is key.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about AI frameworks. You've
Mhm.
been instrumental in building responsible AI frameworks. Can you explain the core principles of these frameworks and how they guide the development of AI products?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. See, to me, if you ask, responsible AI framework, a responsible AI as such, it is a culture today. Like how when we walk into any corporate or any institution, we want to, like before, when we take the interview, we want to also test, like, as a woman, I would see like what is that work life balance. If I'm having smaller kids, but my kids are all grown up now, but if or it could be even, you could have, still you want to have that work life balance, because self care is something really important for all of us. Health comes first. And apart from it today, what if you are walking into, uh, keep putting your foot into the door where it's an entirely AI driven company, then you want to make sure the responsible AI is a culture in their company. It should not be just a checklist, because
Right.
I believe that responsible AI is the key, in order to unlock, um, to make that technology more transformational. So, because every organization, if you see today, that leverages AI, they prioritizes on how they develop and deploy the AI systems. But what
Mhm.
they need to keep in mind is, oh, we are on a time crunch, so let's get this product rolled out, so that we do the production rollout, and then we will think about whether it is fair, ethical. I have seen development teams talking about it like that. But
Right.
the core principles has to start from the design phase itself. Even
Yes.
before, once that data cleansing everything is done, once they are starting to prep for where they are going to design and develop the application, that
Mm-hmm.
when building itself, they should think about how to these key principles, how it can be to make this model a fair model.
Right.
There is how to make it ethical, how it is going to be accountable, because when audit checks happen, we should be able to say, okay, this is the input we gave, this is the response it's giving. It shouldn't give something or omit some ethnicity, or omit some, if it is something related to gender or some kind of a discrimination. If the model does, then we need to know why it did that way, so that transparency is matters. So I would say, like, I'm proud of the journey that I've taken so far.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, like, my aspiration is to um, push the youth, career changers, or women, the professionals that are returning back to workforce, how I can help them learn and grow in the space of in the field of responsible AI.
So, your outreach efforts have significantly impacted students, especially
Mhm.
young women in STEM. What
Uh,
advice would you give to young women aspiring to tech careers in today's rapidly evolving AI landscape?
yeah, see, there is, I would say there is no hard and fast rule in here. But definitely, if the young students are trying to, right now, the students population, where, like, it's every year we see, like, growing number of students population, but at the same time, growing number of students graduating from the colleges and coming out. But
Yes.
with this market uncertainty and everything that's happening since for the last 2 years, how we are going to leverage their talent, and at the same time how they can stand out, that is the challenge the students are having. And
Mm,
how they can stand out would be like, make sure that they have to, um, they shouldn't be a generalist, they should be more like a specialist in a certain area. They should
yeah.
have what is their niche area. So for instance, I don't say, like, there is a broader range in AI. In that, what do I focus on?
Mm,
Mainly on the responsible AI side of it. Likewise, what is their interest? It doesn't have to be all AI. If it doesn't have to be the entire thing, because every day there is something new that comes in the AI. So it's an
yeah.
ever evolving landscape. We cannot. It's definitely, one thing that students come to ask me is like, and we hear that, see it in the social media too, everywhere, where they say whether it would replace their jobs. But
Yes.
because they are a junior talent, no. It's as long as we don't leverage AI to how we can make use of it, then we will become AI obsolete, as I mentioned earlier. So we need to make sure we don't become technologically obsolete, and that is how we that can be done only when we keep up to date with the technology. Take
Right.
one area that you really are passionate about, because if you don't have love towards that, we are not going to put our work into it. If you
Yeah.
don't like it, you're not going to enjoy doing that, right? So if
Yes.
you enjoy doing that, obviously you're going to do much better. You would explore more about, what type of tools that they are utilizing here, how do I make this work. And one more thing I wanted to mention here is also, many people have the perception responsible AI is more of theoretical. It's it's not theoretical, it is how you put that. There is a lot of uh, you know um, we talk about it, but it is like we talk about it because to enforce those practices. There is
Yeah.
really, we can put it in code how to do the bias detection, put it in the code how the explainability happens. And when it says, like, let's say you and I, we both submit for an insurance quote, and
Hmm.
let's say yours got approved, mine got rejected. We both are women, and why mine got rejected, I need to know that explanation from the AI
Yes.
model, why it rejected me, why it
Right.
rejected my insurance quote. And then it should say Usha was back on certain payments, or she did not do these payments on time. So
Right.
that is the reason that her insurance quote was rejected, and she could
Check.
come back to apply it, maybe 3 months down the road, if she's
Right.
doing her payments on time. something like that, and not like insurance quote, like a loan or something that you're going for, just
Yeah.
give an example. So it should be all like, so what I'm saying is, um, so you're making that model explainable. So I just
Yeah.
really went in so deep into it. So I started loving what I was doing. So
Mm.
it's not just theoretical. Anything you take, make sure you also have that hands-on component to it, and you would love that. And even if you're not a coding person, still if you're
Yes.
more of a product person, still that low code, no code, or no code, leverage that, learn how that AI can be applied, and take some service now courses. All it's completely no code, low code concept. Likewise, any other low code, no code tools that you can incorporate it and learn and apply it in your work or as a hobby, and then you might never know that you might try to
Or
utilize that
something.
in your school, in your work.
Yeah, yeah. You have to be constantly curious as to what is out there.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes.
two more questions for you. One is about AI and big data.
Uh-huh.
Have you spoken at prestigious conferences like GHC, Big Data and AI, and Women in Tech conferences? What emerging trends in AI and big data do you believe will have the most impact in the next few years?
Good question. Okay. I think like what we are seeing now is more into the one is that climate change crisis, that is where we want to see by 2030, we want to see how we can reduce the temperature that has been rising, right? So, and how AI can be can favor in, because the intersection of AI and sustainability helps in order to help combat a lot of things related to climate change,
Right.
right from energy, electricity, and everything. So
Yeah.
we could, that is one thing that I look at, and also on the semiconductor industry, how they are leveraging AI. These two areas I'm keeping an eye on, where I think like, and there are a lot more, but these two, it's I'm, and in retail, if you take retail, we are leveraging AI. Like whether you take Amazon, whether you take Netflix, they know how the personal recommendations are done, and they are making it more personalized day by day. And
Yeah.
yeah, all those things, it's like there are so many industry verticals that we can talk about. I think take
Yes.
one or two and keep an eye on it, but see like how it affects the environment too. Because 10 years down the road, our next generation should be able to live well within this environment, means the
Yeah.
climate is foremost. The
Mm.
and yeah, and then like yeah, and then that and then it depends on which other industry vertical that you keep an eye on. Because we I love actually the physical book, the smell of the book. I love to
Yes.
go into a physical store and not an online store. But
Yeah.
these trends have changed, right? So our Gen Z, our next generation kids, or they love to purchase things more online and do watch that binge watching movies, all those things. But how, so for to cater to them, how we are going, how the AI is leveraging, and that they need to know. Those are all the emerging trends I would see that we need to watch for, um,
Yeah.
and use that and propel those ideas in order to even take that idea and present it in a conference for a 30-minute talk, or even doing a
Yeah.
lightning talk for 10 minutes. And that is how the communication will also improve, and the
Yeah.
stage fright, everything will go away for youngsters I'm talking about. Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, so my last question for you looks into the vision for AI's future. Looking towards the future, how do you envisage the role of AI evolving, particularly in enhancing diversity and ethical considerations within the technology sectors?
How do you envision the role of AI evolving? Okay, in enhancing. Okay, um, how do I envision? So in technology, as I mentioned, like not every organization has a AI governance, but today,
Mhm.
like with the EU AI Act that has come, and President Biden's executive order, all those regulations keep it's very important, we as we look towards the future, how to keep up to date with what the regulations and laws that are happening, and how
Yeah.
we can take that into account and apply that, and what is relevant for their organization, whichever organization that you are working for, and
Right.
making sure that it is woven into your organization culture, so that
Yeah.
you are able to when you are developing, because your organization might not just be building AI application, they would
Mm.
also be building other than non AI applications. But
Yeah.
if there is an AI playing a part of it, make sure that why that AI ethics needs to be kept into consideration, and it starts from the top down. I would say, like the leaders, senior leaders should think through that why AI ethics, why the responsible AI innovation should be a culture, and it should not be just checking off from a list, and
Yeah.
why sustainable engineering practices are necessary, so we don't heat up the data centers and make it more temperature to go up for the
Yeah.
climate wise, right? And
Yes.
how the technology what they develop is going to be, whether it is like completely it's a profit business, how they are going to, that technology is going to impact the society, because
Mm.
ESG, all those things are there within a company. We need to look for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, above all, I would say, like, overall, since you said this is a final question, I would use this as to inspire, opportunity to inspire and advocate. I hope I've done that, and
Yes.
I continue to do that to drive that positive change. Because ultimately, people like you and me are the ones, who are going to create that more inclusive and thriving tech ecosystem for all. That is how I would like to conclude. Yeah, and yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Usha. You are just a source of inspiration for all of us.
Oh,
This has
thank
been
you.
a very fascinating interview. AI technology is here, it's here to stay. And the more we learn about it, embrace it, and infuse it in our businesses, the more successful we're going to be. So, thank you for sharing your knowledge today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. The Diversity Connector is a platform that brings you stories and voices from people from all over the world, celebrating our diversity in all aspects. So tune in again tomorrow when I interview yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world, and bye for now. And that's a wrap, everybody, on today's episode of the Diversity Connector podcast. Thank you for tuning in and being part of our vibrant and global conversation. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a tapestry of diverse perspectives. Remember, every story you've heard today is a thread in the larger fabric of our shared humanity. So, as you step back into your world, carry these stories with you and let them inspire you to embrace and celebrate the rich diversity around us. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these inspiring stories with more listeners. Do follow us on social media by looking for the Diversity Connector podcast for more updates. Until then, keep connecting, keep listening, and keep celebrating the beauty of diversity. This is the Diversity Connector podcast signing off. Stay curious, stay open,